always exciting to watch. He has provided us with some of the most exciting moments in all of short course off-road racing for sure, and definitely can sling one of these things around.
Let's take a look at our starting grid. 9-time champion Carl Renesetter next to Bryce Menzies in row 1, Eric Barron and Adrian Cheney from row 2, Kyle LeDuc and Rob McCachran from row number 3, and then Brian Deegan and Greg Adler from row 4.
We'll round out the field with Doug Fortin, who was on the podium in round number 1 alongside Jerry Doherty.
And just to be clear, Carl Renesetter 9 championships between the Pro 4 and Pro 2s. As we get ready to start, the green flag's gonna fly, and Autometer says, let's rev it up, people.
Turn 1 there as everybody goes through cleanly, side-by-side action. Eric Barron aggressive here early on at this racetrack.
The 32 Tonka-sponsored Pro 4. Oh, the all-yellow truck, that is Eric Barron. We have seen some amazing racing from him in the past. Of course, a huge wreck last year took him out of contention for a number of races, and it's great to have him back. And, well, I can't remember him leading a race since that crash, Ken.
I agree with you, and we've got one off the track as we go a little bit deeper. It has a rock star on the side of it, so looks like it's either Brian Deegan or Rob McCachran. It was hard to see from that point, and it is going to be Brian Deegan.
Ah, tough break for Deegs.
And having trouble getting it going there once again. New colors on Eric Barron's truck. First time he's had the Tonka colors on the truck here for 2015 as he started the season off with that sponsorship, so great to see him pick that up. Cheney landing on the left front.
Oh, and he's gonna break traction, come around on a slippery track right now.
And that caution flag came out. I don't think it was for him. It might have come out prior to him doing his stunt driving. He might get lucky here and get his spot back.
Watch the swap, just not able to control it in those slippery conditions there. The race line had maybe started to dry up a little bit. As we get another look at what happened with Deegan.
Man, right into the back of
McCachran.
McCachran, yeah.
And I believe that's why the yellow flag is out, because Deegan wasn't able to get started and get out of there. Even though he was off the track, he was just outside of one of the barriers. So a tough break for Brian Deegan. And speaking of Deegs, let's get down to Rob Klepper with more on that.
Well, you know, guys, as Brian Deegan sits here in the hot pits, crew had it jacked up. We're trying to get it in gear, as Deegan could not get it in gear when he stopped out on the race course. They thought they had it fixed, fired the truck up. He was able to go in reverse, but now they could maybe try and jam this thing in gear to try and get Deegan back out on the racetrack.
Heartbreaker.
Yeah, he's just not had much luck. However, Adrian Cheney dodged the big bullet there as he did retain his position.
So right now, Barron, Menzies, Renesetter, McCachran, and Adrian Cheney, your top 5. And Barron looking to get on top of the box. I mean, there's a lot of laps to go here, but looking sharp, and I'm sure it's very exciting for him to be back leading the field.
And that truck sounds so sweet. I mean, that Toyota just screams. Huge RPMs out of that thing, big power, and when he is on, he is one of the most exciting drivers to watch. He is definitely not afraid to sling it around.
And he's a great personality, loves to have a little bit of fun on the mic, and when he's winning, he's definitely smiling and cutting it up just a little bit.
He has rubbed shoulders, or elbows, if you will, with Kyle LeDuc on a couple of occasions. And there's a look at the Black Monster Energy sponsored number 99, just passing Adrian Cheney right now. Started off about mid-pack here tonight, so he has a little bit of work to do, and a couple of tough players right in front of him.
I'm watching Cheney again.
Oh,
yeah, big breaking free there by Carl backing it in. But what I was going to say, that 11 of Cheney, we heard Rob say that he made some changes to the suspension and the setup in the front. I'm wondering if it's making it hard to control, because upon landing, it really looks like the back of the truck's breaking loose on it.
I'm excited to watch this. I want to watch Kyle LeDuc work his magic up through 2 of the absolute greatest of all time, including Carl Renesetter and Rob McCachran. He is right there on the back bumper, and here he comes after him.
I don't think Carl's going to like the way you said that, by the way, so watch it in the paddock next week, all right?
Well, it's about to happen based on history here in the past year and a half.
Nice onboard. Good look what the driver sees. Totally blind off this ski jump. And then you got to land, there's a stutter bump, and you got to set up for this very flat turn number 3. And you can see a couple different looks at how people take it on. 3 can really become a nightmare. Oh, off power just for a second. The four-wheel parts, number 10, and I'm wondering if that's why the caution flag came out, because he was stopped right in the middle of the track for a moment. Oh, and
well,
that's why the fire.
Yeah. And you can see that fire gets sucked right out. That was obviously excess fuel inside of the exhaust pipe, and when he was able to fire the truck up, it blew the fire right back out. But it is definitely scary, especially whenever the crew and safety crew sees those huge flames. So we'll regroup everybody here. Everybody's back in line behind the Pace truck, and we'll turn them loose. Eric Barron having a great run here tonight, and once again, that is Bryce Menzies in the front of the pack. One of the only automatic trucks left inside of the field, a little bit heavier than some of the other trucks.
Barron getting it started right at the beginning of what we call the cone zone, and Doug Fortin and Adler coming together.
Adler having a tough time at the front of this race.
Oh, and Fortin just pulled out right in front of him. Of course, both of them looking for running room there. Adler out a little earlier and makes contact with Fortin. You talked about the battle between LeDuc and Renezetter, and it looks like LeDuc getting the upper hand here, going to the inside.
Able to turn inside of Carl Renezetter, which is not an easy feat. Up to the top he goes like he did in round 3. Carl kind of misses the entry there.
That's going to scrub a little speed off that entry like I talked about. It's hard to hit that exactly right, either the outside or the inside lane.
So Kyle makes quick work there in the first lap after the restart. And Rob Klepper, you have more on the very exciting Eric Barron.
Guys, I talked to the crew for Eric Barron. After that 5th place run here in Chandler, Arizona, 1 round to go, they said we really didn't make any big changes to the truck. Eric was very happy with how it performed here under the lights. He said, we're very excited to be back here. We have a very fast truck, and he's had success here before. Remember, he ran 2nd here last year, and back in 2013, he finished 3rd. Only 6 times did we see him after that monster crash 1 year ago. So it's great to have Eric Barron with the new Tonka sponsorship here for 2015.
And Kyle LeDuc sticks it right down in the middle. Looks like he had McCachran passed and maybe still has him passed, but as they go 3 wide through turn 1, Mac doesn't want to let it happen. Bryce Menzies right there, and Eric Barron, who finished 5th, just 1 round to go as they will all check up.
Cheney.
Adrian Cheney. Unfortunately, something broke for Adrian, and he has come to a complete stop. So that'll bring out the caution flag. We'll help Cheney clear that truck off the track, regroup all the guys, and we are in for quite a shootout. Stay. If there was ever a time to stand up and watch the exciting laps that are about to start, this would be one of them. The Geico Arizona Off-Road Nationals presented by Toyota. Look at this restart and the who's who in the front of this field. Barron, Menzies, Kyle LeDuc, Rob McCachran, Carl Renezetter. They are all going at it.
Here comes Menzies down the bottom, that Red Bull Discount Tire KMC sponsored number 7, the blue and white truck, and McCachran looking to the inside. This is going to get interesting. McCachran great at the bottom. He's going to open it up a bit, and here comes LeDuc outside in.
Beautiful move for LeDuc. Set that one up perfectly. We'll take the high line here. He's been making it work. Kind of missed the entry just a little bit compared to what he's been doing, but I think he's still going to beat Rob Mack out.
And he does, clearly by maybe 3 or 4 car lengths there.
And now it's time to fight for the lead. Up beside Bryce Menzies in the Red Bull back machine. Pennzoil on the hood. Eric Barron out front. Tonka and Toyota underneath the hood of that one. And Barron on the gas.
Barron's been running his race lines how he wants to run, but I now think with LeDuc there, he's going to have to tighten it up a bit. And while these guys are racing, let's check back in with Rob.
And guys, unfortunately for the wild man, Adrian Cheney, his night stops here in the hot pits. What put you out? It seemed like it just died out on the track. You guys couldn't get it refired?
Yeah, we don't know. It happened in qualifying too. Only really got a few laps in qualifying, missed the last couple of laps. It's the same thing. It feels like it's running out of fuel. So maybe it's like a fuel pickup or something. I mean, hopefully it's not a blown motor, but it did the same thing. I mean, it ran strong for half the race, so I don't know.
It's one of those breaks, guys. Tough deal to see him stop here and this weekend in the hot pits.
Barron hanging on. Menzies pressuring him about as hard as he can, and Kyle LeDuc hanging right there along with Rob McCachran on board with Kyle. And you can see Barron really opening up the turn here. He missed the entry for sure, somehow hung on to it, and the lead along with it. But Barron went through a huge run in turn 1 and redirected that truck. We'll see if he can get around it here. Kyle, way big time air, and pulls a slide job off on Bryce Menzies, just absolutely going for it.
Just really put that together well, and Menzies not happy with it. Looks like he kind of comes charging back at him, which then he had to get on the binders, and I think upset McCachran, meaning upset his truck when he had to either get on the binders or out of the throttle. See if we can see what happens here. Here's the contact. Menzies has to go back just a bit to get out of the back of Barron, and there's Leduc, and let's see what happens here. Oh, McCachran does it all on his own. Throws it up on the bike, gets it back around. Rockstar Energy Drink, Makita number 21. Oh, Barron!
Big moment for Barron. And completely off the track he goes. That thing got so upset off of that jump, he tried to save it, and I gotta tell you, that is not a whole lot different than the last time we saw him with a big nasty wreck on the front straightaway. Not exactly the same, but it certainly resembled it to a degree. These guys are hanging it out for sure. Of course, the first thing we hope is he is okay. Safety crew on that one immediately.
Take another look. He just gets swapped, thrown to the side. He tries to reel it in, gets off the throttle, but when he jumps off the track, just a couple obstacles upset the vehicle. Take another look from his angle. Let's see, it breaks traction, reels it back in, sends it off the side here. Off that berm, it starts to tumble for him. Not really much he could do at that point. And the dirt inside the cab lets you know he is basically upside down. You saw a great look from Barron looking over to see where he was going.
I mean, what I like about that is the window net's still intact. You can see him staying, his entire body staying intact, full containment seat, and all the safety items doing their job as designed here.
Great job by Kyle Leduc. He got out of the throttle just enough to make sure he didn't hit Barron. So tough break for the Tonka-sponsored number 32. He was leading them all around, and wow, what a yard sale, Ken.
He is out and okay. That's the most important thing. We'll get him restarted when we come back. Wow, madness at the front of this field at the Geico Arizona Off-Road Nationals, presented by Toyota, and that black number 99, sponsored by Monster Energy, has inherited the lead after this.
See that Kyle just got out of the throttle, maybe even tapped the brake to make sure he didn't hit Barron, but the good news is Barron is okay. Whew. Vicious crash.
Really glad it was the back bumper that went over the top of that K-rail. He's okay, and they'll be able to get that truck fixed back up. Here we go, 5 laps to go. The number 99 has worked his way out front, looking for his 3rd consecutive win out of 4 rounds this season.
Almost looked like Carl missed a shift there. Just kind of wasn't driving forward for a second there, and Adler comes around, collects McCachran.
And those two guys have actually been working together a little bit this year with some parts and pieces, as Rob McCachran has gone to the manually shifted transmission, and that is a very costly item to switch over to.
Menzies looking for his 4th podium in a row in Pro 4. That's a good way to start off the season and start off your full-time Pro 4 career. Full course caution for the tangled up trucks. I think Renazetter's is going to have a thing or two to say about 2nd place before this is over.
I would have to agree with that. Let's get it down to Rob Klepper. He is with Brian Deegan, who is no longer in the race.
And guys, a tough way for Brian Deegan to end the weekend here in Pro 4. Some issues with the truck, Brian. What was it here tonight?
It actually felt good in qualifying. Got the shifting down a little better, and ended up landing in the back of Rob Mack there on the first lap, and it sent me backwards, and I had to kind of stay in the gas because I didn't want to roll. And I think right when I stayed in the gas going backwards, it just blew up a gear. And I tried to get it back in gear. I thought it was going to work, but it didn't. So I went in the hot pit, and they just couldn't fix it. So it's the way it goes. Learning curve in Pro 4. It's all good.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, he's paying his dues for sure. And those transmissions, you know, are being tested. I don't know that they were ever designed to be put through the stress and strain that they're going through now, but they're developing them year after year after year, and they're getting better and better. But they are definitely a weak link, and you have to be careful with those things if you want them to survive.
Carl tried to get a jump there, got caught just for a second as Kyle hadn't gone yet. Doug Ford in the green, white, and blue. He is sitting in 4th position. The builder of many of these transmissions, the sequential shifting gearboxes.
Yeah, he's done a great job, and that is a plus for the automatics. I mean, the automatics just hang in there and they keep going. And Bryce Menzies certainly has something to say about that. He's been on the podium every single round and looking for another podium as he's making it happen with the automatic.
Well, the one thing the automatic also doesn't have that we see a lot of the manually shifted trucks, those guys end up stalling the truck here and there, and getting them refired is no small task.
Yeah, some of the guys actually have to shut them off to get the truck in reverse if you have the manual. Carl Renazetter, you said it before, having something to say about second place. He is right there on the back bumper of Bryce.
A couple different lines a little bit there. We'll see how it plays out.
Carl picking up a win in round number 1. It was great to see him start off the season so well. Speaking of Doug Fortin, there he is once again. Greg Adler having a good run now, and Rob Mack right behind these two guys. Doug Fortin on the podium in round number 1. Mack says, I'm going to the bottom. Almost looks like Mack's a little off the pace there.
I was going to say the same thing, Kenny. He really was slow entering the split lane and just doesn't look like he has a ton of aggression. I think maybe he's babying the truck just a little bit. But some contact there between Adler and Fortin. Here comes McCachran, right as I say that maybe he's off the pace. And speaking of coming, Renazetter. Oh!
Huge moment there for Doug Fortin, and keeps going.
You gotta love it. Throws it in, catches the rut, it looks like, or yeah, catches the loam or the edge, and wow, that's a pretty good flip. That's a pretty solid snap roll. Keeps it running, keeps it going.
Yeah, I don't ever think he stopped motion, put it right, and plugged it in gear, and stood on the gas, and he's going to try to finish this thing up with a white flag flying. That is a big moment. Adler, with a bit of a tank slapper there, goes down to the inside.
Carl, speaking of inside, Carl went the bottom line there on the split lane. Menzies went to the outside. We'll see how it plays out if they try to do it again on this lap. But Renazetter trying to find a run on Menzies.
Great to see Carl with so much confidence back inside of that truck. And once again, it is firing all the way to the very end, and that's what Carl needs. Those trucks are so fast, his truck, I should say, at the end of these races. Back down to the bottom he goes. He's going to make a run for it.
I don't think he got in there as quick as he did last time, but he's right there. But look at Menzies with the run.
Excellent battle there for second place, but Kyle LeDuc has officially started another streak here with 3 consecutive wins in a brand new truck, debuted this year. Everybody thought he would struggle with it. Well, he is doing anything but. We'll talk to the champ from 2014 when we come back. Congrats to Kyle LeDuc. He is now only 3 career Pro 4 wins behind one of the greatest of all time, Rob McCachran. It stands at 47. Once he does that, he'll be in the top 3.
Guys, another great Pro 4 battle here in Chandler, Arizona. Kyle LeDuc on top once again, man. 3rd straight win. Congratulations. You started the year with a 5th, backed it up with 3 straight wins. I mean, back to win this championship and go for your 3rd. But talk about the race, man. There were battles all the way to the end. And you had a bird's eye view of Eric Barron there.
Yikes, yeah, Barron, obviously we never crashed us, so I hope he's all right. I'm just glad I was 6 inches away from his bumper when it happened, so hope he's all right. You know, that's racing. We've all taken our licks, man. He's just got to get back out there and keep fighting. And where do I start? That was so rad. I passed so many trucks. I was so cautious in the beginning and just played my part, you know. I had a good truck. I know I have a fast car, and everybody's going Highland. They stole all my tricks from yesterday, so I had to play some stuff against them in some different lines, and Chenny and Bryce and all those dudes are dogging for the beginning, and you know, this lineup, I just can't get away from Bryce to gain some points on him. So he knows that. He plays the game. He's smart, and we just outpowered him and just outplayed the game.
Rob Mack told me yesterday this is probably the most competitive Pro 4 season that we've ever had with this series. Would you agree? I mean, there's some pretty stout trucks this year.
Yeah, there's some bad dudes in this class, and I'm glad to be one of them. And to have one race in the beginning of the season that I didn't win and stretch this year out into last year, I'm just amazed. You know, this team, Richard's worked his butt off. He's dedicated his life to what I do, and I can't, you know, thank him with a paycheck. I thank him with wins, bro. And Chase and my family and Monster Energy Drink and Rigid Industries, they're out here helping tonight. Toyo Tires, putting this rubber down. I'm one of the only guys running their tires, and we're winning. So that tells you what to buy.
Nice job, my friend. Of course, Kyle LeDuc now standing at 64 total career short course off-road wins. Nicely done. He also earned the Optima Batteries quick lap of the race here tonight. Kyle LeDuc, Bryce Menzies, and Carl Renazetter. As you take a look at the order there, Rob McCagran and Greg Adler round out the top 5. Let's go down and talk to Bryce Menzies.
Well, guys, one thing that I know Bryce Menzies needs to work on is keeping that hood down so you can actually see what you're doing out there. But third, second place finish of the year all in a row. What's it going to take to get on top of the box? But definitely a good points night for you guys.
Yeah, we had a good run, and when that hood came up, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It seems like every race that happens, but, Kyle's on fire. His truck's quick, and I felt like we had something for tonight, but once the hood came up, it was just survival, try to stay out there, and, coming away second it's not bad, so we're really good in the points. Still learning to drive this truck. We're finding speed. The guys worked after qualifying. We had a bad qualifying run, but we came out here, did our work tonight. We'll go back, make some changes, make this thing quicker, and we'll go after the champ, Kyle. But just got to thank all my sponsors, Red Bull, KMC Wheels, BFG, BF Goodrich Tires are amazing, Pennzoil Oil, Ford, Rigid Industries, everybody that helps me out, so awesome, especially being here in Arizona, where I was born. Awesome, all the fans out here. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Bryce.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Keeping it on the podium is going to keep you in the points. He's only 4 back from Kyle LeDuc, who is on a 3-race streak. We're going to see how this works out for the other drivers as we move forward in the season. One guy that has something to say about it for sure, sitting in 4th in the points, is Carl Renazetter. Let's hear from him.
Guys, a great way to close out the weekend here in Chandler, Arizona for Carl Renazetter. Another podium finish in Pro 4. It's got to make you happy kind of bouncing back after what happened in round 3.
Yeah, definitely. But round 3, my truck was hooked up. The track prep was awesome. Tonight, it was soaking wet, hard as a rock. I didn't think the track would ever come in. Fortunately, unfortunately, there were a lot of yellows out there, and track finally came in at the end, and we had something to give. But this Lucas Oil team, General Tire team is, we're tough, and we'll figure it out. When they wet the track like that, we're going to figure out how to be fast in that. So it was a good night, though. I really had a great time racing. I needed about 4 more laps, though.
So the truck